Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr. Matea Rentia, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I can't believe how fast this year is going by. I hope that you're having a good month of December. I feel like December is one of my favorite months. I celebrate Christmas and we have the Christmas tree up that whole month. And there's something so nice about coming down the stairs in the morning and the tree is on. My husband's amazing. He sets a timer so that the tree goes on before I come down. That is my version of him making a pot of coffee in the morning for me. Do you know what I mean? It's the tree being on. So I could say a million amazing things, but that is one where I'm so incredibly happy. This is a month that while there's always a lot of stuff going on, I always make sure to take enough time to just literally enjoy some of these moments, having the hot chocolate with my son, looking at the tree. This is just for me. Even though it gets dark so early, things like that, I like to focus on a candle being lit, the beauty, those warmer moments, because that's what really, I think, makes me not get depressed over this time of year. All right. So today I want to talk about weight cycling because we're getting to that dreaded end of the year when so many people are going to lose coverage for their medication. You might not have insurance coverage come January, and many of you are not going to have talked to your doctor. You're going to have no plan of what to do, and weight is going to come back on. And I am making this episode here to plead with you to get in touch with your medical team if that's the case and make a plan now of what you're going to do. There are other interventions, other medications, other things that you can do. Do not just go into it and I'm going to figure it out. Horrible plan. And I want to go through today why weight cycling is so harmful. So I want you to imagine every time you're gaining and losing and gaining and losing, you get more and more biologic adaptation. So what is this? This is where your body, I want you to imagine as you're losing weight, especially if you're losing weight fast, we could go into several things. What ends up happening is that your body inside, I want you to imagine that a red siren light goes off and it says, alert, alert, alert. We're starving. This isn't good. We're going to die. And so what does it do? It wants to preserve energy. This is one of the things that happens. Well, how do you preserve energy? You make what you have last longer. So you're not going to have the metabolic engine, that fire that's giving you all the energy. It's going to become a lot less. You need to use what you have longer, so the metabolism needs to go down. One statistic that I got here from a recent course that I did, they said metabolic rate suppression occurs with calorie restriction, 22% at 6 weeks, 36% at 6 months. Let's recap that. That is almost a fourth of your metabolic rate is down by a month and a half in, and then half a year in, 36% down. That should give you chills to the bone. And this is validating to many of you that are hearing this because you say, I know that I keep having to work harder and harder and harder. I believe you. I always say I believe you because I know the statistics behind it. So that is the case. You can do things differently. The other statistic that I want to tell you is some of you are going to say, well, I have no option. It's just how it is. And your weight's going to continue to go up and down and up and down. And I'm not talking about 5, 10 pounds. I'm talking about massive fluctuations. Okay. There are different shades of gray here. Okay. So your weight cycling, it increases your cardiovascular risk and visceral fat. This is really the sick fat, the one that is causing all the metabolic problems for you. It's not just that, oh, you regained weight, you have more visceral fat now. So you become sicker and sicker and sicker. And I don't want this for you. So there are real consequences to going up and down on these things. You really want to work with your physician to come up with a long-term plan. Long-term plans are not made all at once. You might be doing something right now and it's working, and then that doesn't work and you try something else, but there are steps to it. There's a progression. When I was meeting with my physician here recently for my not annual checkup, because I see the doctor more than once in the year, but every so many months I see this physician. And we talked through where I am right now. We did make an adjustment. And then we said, okay, well, if that adjustment doesn't give me XYZ result, then in a few months, here's another thing we're going to do. And here's the thing after that we could do. Do you know why I am so not panicked with this road, even though it's been slow as can be with me? Because I always know there's another lever on the back end to pull. I always know that. And it's not obvious. It might present itself, but I am willing to keep checking in and do whatever it takes to make this a top priority. For you, I know that it's so unfair. Some of you that are listening in other countries where these medications are covered, you just have no idea what I'm talking about. So you're just sitting here like, what? This is sadistic that, that suddenly someone's doing so great and they get their metabolic health back and suddenly these medications are getting ripped. It's a reality in the US. And so if that's the case, I really do believe that there are either monotherapies, single medications, or cocktails of medications that could help you to not gain all the weight back. Because it's not about the weight. Your health likely massively improved in some capacity. And that is the line I want to maintain. It is not that I care if no consequence would happen if the weight came back on, I would not care. But hearing these numbers and hearing what happens, you can see how it just becomes incredibly tough for you. One thing that I was looking at the other day online, Dr. Toomer, she's another obesity medicine physician. I just love her work. She made a comment on one of my videos where she just sees that the patients that come in with a low muscle mass, that they just, at some point, they can't do it. That basically it's just not something that the GLP-1 can overcome. And I see this too clinically. If I have someone come in and they're just starting at too much of a disadvantage metabolically, I will work on that first with them before we work on weight loss. Now, this is annoying to people because remember, everyone's only obsessed with the number on the scale. But if you've listened to any of the previous episodes, you know that 1 out of 4 people, even if they're thin, can still have metabolic disorders. So that's not really the thing that we should be chasing. If the muscle mass is too low, I will work on getting that up first, and then I will work on fat loss. It's almost like at some point you run someone into the ground if you don't do this. And that's just one simple example, but I want things to be different for you. I want you to go talk to your medical team if you are in this position where you know that coverage or something is going to happen coming up. And by the way, many of you will tell me, well, I have so many injections at home and I can probably get through till February or into March, but then you have no plan. This is the time that you figure it out. This is the time, not February 1st in a panic when you've been out for 2-3 weeks and then you wonder, what can we do quick? A lot of these therapies, as you titrate down from one, you titrate the other one up. That is how you don't have these massive swings in weight. That is how you keep metabolically things under control. You don't just cold turkey it and then suddenly a few months later, all right, let's just start another random therapy. The people typically that do the best are really getting a lot of help along this road. Okay, so I'm not going to say it one more time, but I would really love for you this next year to have no more weight cycling and to have stability with it. And I would rather that you lose less and keep that off than you losing and regaining and just like a hamster wheel going at it, because something is going on if that's the case. Now, one exception I want to give, it is very common post-bariatric surgery or just weight loss in general, that people will reach a certain lowest number, but that's not necessarily their optimal number. It looks like a regain, quote unquote, 5-10 pounds, but that's actually where their body likes to live. And they were really artificially doing weird things and restrictive to get down to that lowest number, but that's not really optimal for them. That is not a regain. Okay, that's just your body figuring out where it wants to maintain, but it is not you suddenly regaining everything that you lost. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I want to ask you a big favor. If you're loving these episodes, please make sure that you give us a review. I'm trying to get to 500. We're getting closer. So please leave a review if you can. I'll see you next week. That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category, and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode, easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend. I'm listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.